Did you know that cryptocurrencies aren't actually decentralized? This is because the internet we use today is controlled by a handful of tech giants that all crypto projects rely on for storage, computing, and front-end user interfaces like mobile apps and websites. At any time, these tech giants could collude to bar crypto companies from using their services, which could crush the crypto market in an instant. The Internet computer hopes to be the solution to this subtle centralization problem by creating a brand new decentralized internet. Its ICP token recently appeared among the top 10 largest cryptocurrencies by market cap the other week, and this has left many wondering what this project is really all about and if it has any potential. Well, today I intend to find out. Sorry to interrupt, but I need to cover my butt. I am not a financial advisor, so I can't give you any financial guidance. Everything in this video is just crypto science. If you've never seen me before, my name is Guy, and this channel has crypto galore. Crypto coins, crypto tokens, crypto market moves, and crypto truths that are seldom spoken. If you value quality over hype, subscribing to the channel and pinging the notification bell is right. I've laid down a few timestamps in the video timeline below. You can use them to skip around or watch the whole way through if you're a true crypto bro. And with that said, let's get that ICP bread. The history of the Internet computer is a bit confusing, but here's more or less how it came to be. The Internet computer was founded by Dominic Williams in either 2014, 2015, or 2016. Dominic is a computer scientist with over 20 years of experience and has been active in crypto since 2014. When the Internet computer was founded, it was known as Dfinity, and it sought to take Ethereum's world computer idea to the next level by becoming, well, the Internet computer. The interesting thing about the Internet computer is that unlike other smart contract cryptocurrencies, the Internet computer aims to replace the entire Internet stack, not just the application layer. Like many crypto projects, the Internet computer is maintained and developed by the Dfinity Foundation, a Swiss non-profit incorporated in October 2016. The Dfinity Foundation consists of nearly 200 of the world's most talented developers and researchers who have been collectively building the Internet computer protocol since 2016. The massive scale of this project was made possible by the equally massive amount of money the Dfinity Foundation received from VC investors and the ICP ICO. These public and private funding rounds raised anywhere between $120 and $166 million. Now, I'll get back to that later. Unlike many crypto projects, the Internet computer's code is not completely open source. Now, as far as I understand, developers are also not allowed to copy most of the code that is open source. More importantly, participation on the Internet computer blockchain is permissioned and requires, quote, standardized hardware provided by the Dfinity Foundation. Development of the Internet computer began in 2019 with the release of Copper, which introduced a software developer kit for smart contracts coded in Motoko, a new programming language used on the Internet computer. In early 2020, the Bronze milestone featured the first functional decentralized application on the Internet computer at the Davos Summit hosted by the World Economic Forum. The featured dApp was Linked Up, an open-source version of LinkedIn that works just as fast as its centralized contemporary. What you see here is built entirely on the Internet computer. A few months later, Tungsten opened up the Internet computer to third-party developers and showcased Dfinity's decentralized TikTok clone, CanCan, which was built with just 1,000 lines of code. At the end of 2020, the Dfinity Foundation unveiled its much-anticipated Sodium upgrade, which introduced the Internet computer's governance framework and tokenomics. Mercury, the last stage of the Internet computer's development, was completed earlier this month with its mainnet launch. The ICP token also began trading on multiple exchanges such as Coinbase and Binance, with a valuation high enough to place it among the top 10 largest cryptocurrencies by market cap. So, how in the hell does it work? The Internet computer might just be the most complex cryptocurrency project in existence. So, if what I'm about to say doesn't quite click, well, don't take it personally. From a bird's eye view, the Internet computer consists of a series of data centers spread around the world. Each data center contains multiple nodes, and nodes from multiple data centers are grouped together to form something called a subnet. Each subnet forms a proof-of-stake blockchain which uses a novel consensus mechanism called threshold relay, invented by founder Dominic Williams. Now, threshold relay is outside the scope of this video, but the bare-bones explanation is that a subset of nodes in each subnet is selected to produce a block based on their staked ICP. Subnets are similar to the parachains you see on Polkadot and Kusama. Like parachains, subnets host decentralized applications running on the Internet computer. Now, whereas regular crypto dApps consist of a collection of smart contracts, each dApp on the Internet computer is made up of one or more canisters. Canisters are like smart contracts on steroids. They can automatically create new versions of themselves on other subnets to support additional users and can be leveraged by other developers building dApps. Because subnets only consist of a handful of nodes running in powerful data centers, this makes both transactions and applications run at speeds that are comparable to the regular Internet. Not only that, but users do not need to pay any fees when interacting with canister applications, unless it's something that requires transactions, like a decentralized exchange or lending protocol. Now, this is in stark contrast to just about every other smart contract blockchain in existence, which requires you to pay a network fee for every single interaction on their decentralized applications. I'll explain how this is possible in just a moment. Another major difference between the Internet computer and other cryptocurrency blockchains is that you require something called an Internet identity to interact with applications on the Internet computer. This Internet identity can be paired to your smartphone, computer, or a secure USB key. A wallet address is automatically generated for you when you create an Internet identity. The device that is originally used to create that Internet identity becomes the one that is used to verify all transactions and is also required to add new devices to the same identity. For other cryptocurrencies, you just generate a wallet address and write down your seed phrase, which you can use to recover that wallet or boot it up on a different device. The Internet computer's architecture of data centers, nodes, subnets, canisters, and users is managed by the Internet computer's Network Nervous System, or NNS. At the data center level, the NNS decides which data centers get to join the Internet computer's network. At the node level, the NNS identifies misbehaving or underperforming nodes and removes them from subnets. At the subnet level, the NNS decides which nodes form a subnet and is also responsible for generating subnet keys. Subnet keys are a crucial component of the Internet computer's chain key technology, which is once again outside the scope of this video. The simple explanation is that this chain key technology makes it possible for subnets to communicate with each other via the NNS, which holds the master key that validates all transactions. At the canister level, the NNS can decide, quote, whether upgrades to canister software or management services are allowed or not. At the user level, the NNS can make changes to the economics of the ICP token. Now, what's interesting is that the NNS itself consists of a handful of canisters running on a dedicated subnet. The first canister is the registry canister, which tracks data center, node, and subnet organization. The second canister is the ledger canister, which contains a record of all Internet identities, transactions, and tokens on the Internet computer. And the third canister is the governance canister, which allows ICP holders to vote on various changes to the Internet computer, including those I just mentioned. Now, the actual governance process in the NNS is something I don't have time to cover, but the key takeaway is that the longer you lock your ICP, the more voting power you have. Moreover, you also earn ICP for voting on proposals in the NNS, and this brings me to the tokenomics of ICP. ICP has an initial supply just short of 470 million tokens. ICP has no maximum supply and has a diminishing annual inflation rate that starts at 10% and goes down to 5% over time. Of ICP's initial supply, almost 25% was sold in a public seed sale round in 2017 for $4.1 million, which works out to about 3.5 cents per ICP. A presentation by Dominic Williams suggests that there were just a few hundred participants in this public sale, and in an interview, he noted that most of them were from the Ethereum community. The first private sale in 2018 saw roughly 7% of ICP's initial supply sold for $20 million at a price tag of about 63 cents per ICP. Those participating in the second private sale in 2018 got the short end of the stick, shelling out a whopping $4.50 per ICP. With 5% of ICP's initial supply allocated there, that's nearly $100 million. Of the remaining supply, less than 1% was airdropped to participating users on CoinList, and the remainder went to the Dfinity Foundation and its affiliates. Everyone who received or purchased ICP tokens had to complete KYC and create an internet identity to claim these tokens. As far as I can tell, the only ICP tokens that are subject to a vesting schedule are those allocated to participate in the public seed sale in 2017. Without getting into the details, these will be gradually unlocked over a 4-year period on a monthly basis. During this time, they'll be locked in the NNS's governance canister and can be used to vote. The ICP token is used for 3 things: governance of the Internet computer via the NNS, to pay for canister fees to run applications and websites on the Internet computer, and to reward voters for participating in governance and reward data centers for providing the computation required to sustain the Internet computer. Now, as I mentioned earlier, ICP tokens are locked to vote on proposals in the NNS. The minimum lockup period is 6 months and the maximum is 8 years. To pay for canister fees, ICP tokens must be converted into cycles. Now, this is where things get complicated again, so bear with me. Each ICP token can be converted at a rate of 1 SDR to 1 trillion cycles. Now, for those unfamiliar, SDR is basically a currency created by the IMF that is backed by a basket of fiat currencies. So to keep things simple, let's just say the SDR is equal to $1. If you have 1 ICP and the current price of ICP is $100, converting 1 ICP into cycles would give you 100 trillion cycles. Now, rather than require users to pay canister fees, these fees are paid by whoever is running the canister, be it an individual developer or a software company. In other words, whoever makes an application or website on the Internet computer must buy ICP, convert it into cycles, and pay the canister fees so their applications continue to run. The logic here is that having the cycle conversion pegged to the SDR means that these canister fees will always be predictable for developers. It also turns cycles into a sort of stablecoin, which will be tradable on decentralized exchanges on the Internet computer and possibly even used as a de facto digital currency. Any cycles used to pay for canister fees are burned, meaning that ICP could theoretically become a deflationary currency if there are enough applications on the Internet computer. This burning mechanism also helps cycles maintain their 1 SDR to 1 trillion cycle peg. The caveat here is that cycles cannot be converted back into ICP once they've been minted. When it comes to rewarding participants on the network, users participating in governance get a cut of ICP's inflation in proportion to how much they've staked and how much they vote. Users claim their voting rewards once per month, and the unlock period for these rewards is 1 day. Data centers providing node services also earn a share of ICP's inflationary rewards, and this is because there are technically no block rewards for nodes participating in consensus on subnet blockchains. Instead, they earn a, quote, standard monthly reward assigned to their region. Now for the big question. What does this all mean for the price of ICP? On its first day of trading, ICP hit a price of over $640. The price pattern that followed is characteristic of newly listed cryptocurrencies: a sudden dip, a sudden jump, and another drop. ICP has slowly been shedding dollars and took a nasty beating when the crypto market experienced that flash crash a few days ago. In contrast to most cryptocurrencies, this drop looks more in line with ICP's longer-term downward price trend, which I believe will continue for some time. This is because there seems to be much more sell pressure than buy pressure for the ICP token. Those who participated in ICP's public sale are currently in 5,000x profit territory, and even though most of their tokens are vesting, I have a feeling that they're allowed to claim their monthly voting rewards. Those who participated in ICP's first private sale are currently in 200x profit territory with no apparent vesting period. Even participants in the later sale and airdrop are up nearly 40x. Any data centers participating on the Internet Computer are also earning ICP through their nodes, which they are likely selling to cover the costs of operation. These node rewards don't seem to be very large, considering there are just 16 data centers running 88 nodes for the Internet Computer. Now, if this is true, it's ironically good for ICP's price action. Even though the ICP being sold by these parties is probably a small percentage of its circulating supply, it's still substantially more than the current demand for ICP. For starters, users don't require ICP or cycles to interact with the Internet Computer. You could argue that governance rewards would incentivize someone to buy ICP, and I would agree with this claim were it not for the fact that you must lock that ICP up for a minimum of 6 months. This is not ideal, especially when we're in a bull market that could be ending in 6 months' time or sooner. Not only that, but because most of ICP's supply seems to be held by larger investors, the voting rewards the average retail user would get from the NNS would be negligible. In addition, it seems that data centers do not need to hold significant amounts of ICP, if at all. Compare this to Filecoin, wherein storage miners must stake tons of Phil coins to provide storage for its network. As far as I can tell, the only demand driver for ICP beyond basic speculation is coming from app creators who need cycles to power their app canisters. There don't seem to be many developers building applications on the Internet Computer, which is not surprising when you consider the fact that there is no clear monetization structure. As annoying as it can be to constantly pay transaction fees for dApps built on Ethereum and the Binance Smart Chain, it means that developers actually have an incentive to build. However, ICP's poor price action isn't stopping the Dfinity Foundation. In January this year, Internet Computer founder Dominic Williams detailed a 20-year roadmap for the project in what may be the longest Medium post I have ever seen. Over the next 5 years, the Dfinity Foundation will focus on the adoption of the Internet Computer Protocol and hopes to double its team of experts. 10 years from now, the Dfinity Foundation hopes that the Internet Computer will become a viable alternative to the regular Internet we use today. By 2040, the Internet Computer will be larger than today's Internet, and the reign of tech giants like Google and Amazon will come to an end. Achieving this on computers is only half the battle, which is why the Dfinity Foundation recently announced its plans for Endorphin, a new operating system for smartphones. All apps and features on Endorphin phones will function as if they were websites. The app widgets we see on smartphones today would just be bookmarks for those websites. To quote the Medium post, there will be no distinction between websites, apps, and dApps. Content will simply be transparently cached where it is accessed, and there will be no need for a bothersome download and install process. Endorphin will leverage the Internet Computer, and this means you will need an Internet identity to use an Endorphin phone, and all the upgrades and changes to the phone will be managed by the NNS. If you think the Internet Computer is starting to sound like less of a cryptocurrency project and more like the endgame of the World Economic Forum, well, you're not alone. Dozens of people have voiced their concerns about the implications that the Internet Computer's Internet identity could have on privacy. After all, lots of code is closed-sourced and patented. Even though the Internet Computer is technically decentralized, the NNS seems to be a single point of failure, given that it's run on a dedicated subnet that is presumably run by the Dfinity Foundation. While the amount of ICP tokens allocated to the Dfinity Foundation and its affiliates is not greater than 50%, they are likely the only entities who are willing to lock their tokens for that 8-year period. The longer you lock your ICP in the NNS, the more voting power you have, and the more ICP rewards you earn from inflation. These can then be compounded back into governance. What this means is that the DFINITY Foundation has total control over the Internet computer. It can probably vote on whatever proposals it wants, and this voting power will only increase over time if its tokens stay locked. Now, this is a huge problem because the full extent of the NNS's governance over the Internet computer is not entirely clear, and the powers it seems to have now are already quite concerning. Data centers are required to provide their personal information and run hardware curated by the DFINITY Foundation, and even then, the NNS could vote to reject their application. More importantly, even though the canisters that run all the applications on the Internet computer are technically, quote, unstoppable, it seems that the NNS could vote to shut down undesirable apps. If this is the case, could the NNS do the same to individuals? If everyone is using the Internet computer and even their phones are leveraging the protocol, this would effectively cut them out of society. This isn't just speculation either. In a 2018 interview, Dominic Williams noted that the Internet computer will be designed to conform with the laws of the countries in which it operates. How is this possible for a protocol that is supposed to have open governance and decentralization? That doesn't sound at all like a cryptocurrency to me. Now, in fact, you could say that what the DFINITY Foundation's team is looking to do with the Internet computer is not eliminate the tyranny of today's tech giants, but instead crown themselves as rulers of the Internet. Thankfully, the solution here is quite simple, and that's to fully open source the project so that people have the option to build their own Internet if this nightmarish scenario starts to play out. As it so happens, making more of the Internet computer's code available for public scrutiny also seems to be on the DFINITY Foundation's roadmap. Let's just hope it's not too late by the time they actually do it. The Internet computer is easily one of the most powerful projects in the cryptocurrency space. It really seems to have the potential to replace the Internet we see today with something that is much more efficient, convenient, and safe. Those talking points sound familiar, and they somehow remind me of a quote: "Absolute power corrupts absolutely." I can't help but think that DFINITY Foundation could quickly fall prey to this parable. The Internet computer's network is not nearly as decentralized as it seems, and it's clear that its end goal is to replace the entire planet's information infrastructure. If this happens, there will be no escape, because you will have a single identity that is tied to everything you do. If you're booted out by the DFINITY Foundation, it's game over. Now, to be fair, you could say that this isn't all that different from the system we have now. We already have multiple Internet identities for various emails, apps, and services. Oddly enough, however, this setup is more decentralized and actually preserves more privacy than the Internet computer. Even though you may have an account with a data-hungry tech giant, more often than not, that information and activity is siloed. As a simple example, Facebook can't access the data your government has about you, and your government can't access the data Facebook has about you. Unless you live in certain countries, of course. What the Internet computer is proposing is a total consolidation of control, one wherein the possibility of a network of interoperable and decentralized cryptocurrency blockchains is just an afterthought. To paraphrase founder Dominic Williams, projects like Ethereum will just be used as toys by die-hard cypherpunks. Now, I happen to disagree with that statement, and that's for one simple reason. True cryptocurrency projects are permissionless. Anyone can participate, and these participants compete for open source code that improves as it's copied over and over. The Internet computer may have financial and institutional backing, but it lacks the raw economic incentives to create the decentralized world real cryptocurrencies will bring. Drops mic. Hats off to you if you made it this far. If you want to pick up some ICP tokens, then they are available on Binance. And I have an exclusive deal with a 20% discount on trading fees, which is down there in the description. If you liked this video, then let it be known. Turn that like button blue and remember to subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell if you haven't already. If you've already watched every video the Coinbureau has to offer, take that enthusiasm over to my Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. You can even join my free Telegram channel where I give you the daily updates you need to dominate the crypto market. If you want to take your portfolio to the next level, then you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter and get the tips and tricks that will help you do just that. You can do all the above while looking like a champ by getting some merch from the Coinbureau merch store. Links to all of these resources and more can be found in the video description. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in a jiffy.